All I ever wanted was to be a pampered, salted fish. My greatest dream in life was nothing less than becoming a well-sheltered, salted fish. Ideally, the kind that only eats imported food delivered by air, always wears luxury brands, and is escorted by 8 bodyguards wherever she goes, never having to worry about anything ever again. That, to me, was the pinnacle of a salted fish life. Unfortunately, I was just Serena, the second daughter, always living under the dazzling shadow of my elder sister, Luna. Then, on the eve of her engagement, my sister suddenly seemed to change. She whimpered to our parents that her fiancé, Ethan Coo, an esteemed young master of the capital, was a complete control freak. Marrying him would be like locking herself in a golden cage, and she'd rather die than agree. Before I could even comfort her, a stream of comments appeared before my eyes. Comments. Here it comes, the classic runaway female lead trope. Male lead chasing female lead, a common forced romance plot. She said he monitors her social media and restricts her personal freedom. That's a living hell. Listening to her complaints and seeing the netizens' spoilers, I was moved to tears. Restricted social interaction? Absolutely wonderful. I suffer from social anxiety. Restricted freedom of movement? Even better, I'm a certified lazy bug. This is hell. It's clearly a paradise tailor-made just for me by fate. Seeing our parents about to cancel the engagement for my sister's freedom, I promptly dropped to my knees with a thud. Mom, Dad, if she doesn't want to fall into that fiery pit, let me take her place and bear the burden. I had my suspicions. My sister must have been reincarnated. How else could she have been happily boasting just yesterday, only to wake up today crying and demanding to call off the engagement? In the living room, she tearfully pleaded with our parents, insisting Ethan Coo was outwardly polite, but in reality a crazy control freak. Truth be told, she hadn't even met him once. I was about to open my mouth to ask, when a series of comments popped up again. Comments. Why is the female lead reincarnated again? If she doesn't marry, what kind of you run, I chase, story am I supposed to watch? You're right, it is hell after all. Only imported food to eat, only designer clothes to wear, even her shampoo is managed. A life so smooth, without a single ripple. How could the female lead possibly survive? My eyes lit up. Could a life like that truly be my ultimate destination? A genuine salted fish, both lazy and afraid of social interaction. But what was even more surprising was that my parents, choked with emotion, helped my sister up and loudly declared the engagement canceled. Even if it means losing everything, even if it offends the entire capital, we must protect our daughter's freedom. Hold on, doesn't anyone remember this other asterisk daughter? Was the substitute bride to be chosen so carelessly? Seeing my father's hand trembling as he prepared to call off the engagement, I swiftly knelt down and pleaded, Mom, Dad, if she doesn't want to marry, let me. The entire room fell silent for a few seconds. My mother grabbed my father's arm, exclaiming joyfully, Oh my goodness, I completely forgot about Serena. If she's willing to marry, what could be better? The original engagement didn't specify which daughter, after all. My father, overjoyed, hung up the phone. The whole family clapped and cheered in unison. That night, I happily packed my belongings in my tiny little room. A flurry of comments appeared. Comments. Who is this? Where did this younger sister come from? Just casually jumping in to replace the female lead. Look at her happily packing. Does she seriously think a controlled life is a dream? Anyone else notice how drastically different the Shen parents' attitudes are? Totally, just look at the two sisters' rooms. The older sister has a big room with a private bathroom, while the younger one is in a room renovated from the maid's quarters. Clear favoritism. So what if there's favoritism? She's the female lead, the whole world favoring her is deserved. I didn't bother to care, I just quietly packed each item into my luggage. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. My sister, Luna, stood outside, her eyes wavering slightly. Do you really want to marry Ethan Coo in my place? I flinched. Don't tell me you've changed your mind, sis. If you want to go, then I won't. She bit her lip in silence, then said sternly, Ethan Coo is terrifying, you wouldn't understand. In the business world, he uses ruthless tactics to drive people to a dead end. Business world stuff, I don't care about him there. So, at home, does he hit people? Does he make people clean the house? She looked stunned, then forced a smile. It's 10 times more terrifying than that. He'll monitor your social media and restrict you from going out. Thank goodness, wonderful. I'm afraid of social interaction and I'm a certified lazy bug. I breathed a sigh of relief. Seeing how relieved I was, she seemed flustered, as if she wanted to say more. I quickly made an excuse about being tired and slammed the door shut. From childhood, whenever my sister got into trouble, I was always the one scolded by our parents. Now, with a chance to escape that situation, I absolutely had to seize it. The next day, our entire family was taken on a private jet to fly to the capital. Of course, my family wasn't wealthy enough for that. It was all arranged by the Coo family. The engagement ceremony was incredibly lavish. I sat in the waiting room, about to meet Ethan Coo for the first time, the long-rumored fiancé. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I thought since my sister had been so critical, he'd at least not be ugly but handsome. That was a stretch. Who would have thought he'd be such an exceptional man? Tall, perfect physique, an extraordinary aura. It was truly beyond imagination. At the engagement ceremony, he took my hand, a warm smile gracing his lips. "Let's go, my fiancé." My heart pounded wildly, as if it wanted to jump out of my chest. The comments started flooding in. Comments: "I can't take it anymore. The male lead is too handsome. Just let me be the fiancé for 5 minutes, please." Ah, did anyone notice? The male lead emphasized the word my. Oh my God, so sweet it melts my heart. Wait, what are you guys doing? Don't you see the female lead, Luna, standing below the stage, almost in tears? This ceremony was supposed to be hers. What's wrong with that person? Didn't she call off the engagement herself? After the engagement ceremony concluded, my sister pulled our parents to say goodbye and shake Ethan Coo's hand. I immediately clasped my sister's hand. "Oh, sis, thank you so much. I remember all your advice, and so does my brother-in-law." Ethan Coo looked at me, a fleeting smile in his eyes. My sister bit her lip, her expression a mix of unwillingness and what looked like relief from a heavy burden. At night, Ethan Coo brought me back to the Coo family's villa. Looking at the spacious room with its private balcony and stunning views, I couldn't believe my eyes and asked again, "Is this really my room?" After receiving an affirmative answer, I almost burst into tears. But an even greater surprise was still to come. Seeing how much I liked the room, Ethan Coo immediately told the butler to draft a contract, wanting to transfer the entire villa to my name. Happiness came too suddenly, like a dream. "Really? Are you really giving me this entire villa?" He gently kissed my forehead, his voice deep and warm. "As long as you don't leave me, everything I have is yours." Immediately, I wanted to kneel down and thank this wealthy husband. The comments buzzed with excitement. Comments: "Ooh, it's getting spicy now. Exactly the dark, obsessive male lead type I adore. No, I'm absolutely not jealous. Seriously. Even if she has a multi-billion-dollar villa, she's lost her precious freedom. Boo-hoo. I don't understand why everything the male lead has asterisk should asterisk rightfully belong to Luna. This little sister is completely out of line. You people up there, shut your mouths. I'm about to get violent." After signing the contract, I happily went asleep. In the dead of night, half awake, I felt a burning gaze fixed on me from the direction of the bed. Perhaps the engagement had gone too smoothly, and I'd let my guard down. The next morning, I woke up to find my belongings had been cleared away by the staff. I was still happily imagining scenes of grand escape from the wealthy family when the maid came to invite me. "Miss Shen, please come to the dressing room. Young master is waiting." A dressing room? It was actually more than twice the size of my living room back home. Before my eyes was an entire rack of clothes and bags, neatly arranged by color. Thinking of finally getting to wear all sorts of Gucci, Prada, and Dior, I let out a snort of laughter. "What are you laughing about?" I didn't know when, but Ethan Coo was standing right behind me holding a dress. I quickly waved my hand, softly asking, "Are all these mine?" He lowered his eyes, his gaze deep and captivating. "They're all based on your measurements. I spent all last night choosing each item. For every outfit, I've imagined how you would look wearing it. From now on, only I get to decide what you wear, all right." At this, my eyes suddenly stung. I bowed my head, tears welling up. Comments began to flood the screen. Comments. Here it comes, here it comes. In the original story, the female lead Luna heard this line and flared up, calling him a pervert. From then on, their relationship fractured, and the male lead became increasingly obsessed. The original really tortured the audience's hearts. Actually, the male lead didn't mean any harm. He just wanted to say they belong together. Oh my God, look. This younger sister's reaction is even more intense. She's almost in tears. The male lead must think he's hated now. Look, his face is darkening. Hearing that, I flinched and looked up, meeting his heavy gaze. His lips were tightly pressed, the light in his eyes slowly fading, and a chilling aura emanated from him. Oh no, it's over, it's over. This girl is about to cry. The male lead must think I also despise that pervert. Someone save him, explain quickly. Aren't you blissfully happy? Don't ruin it. Or is she acting? Pretending to go along with it to find an opportunity to escape? That's quite clever. Seeing Ethan Coo's pained expression, yet trying to remain calm, my heart twisted. No, I wasn't crying out of fear, but out of overwhelming emotion. I clasped his hand tightly, raising my tear-filled eyes to him. I'm just too moved. From childhood until now, no one has ever treated me so well. In Mom and Dad's eyes, there was only my elder sister. My clothes were all her hand-me-downs that she was tired of. My room was a renovated maid's room. Even my name, Serena, was just meant to be a backdrop for my sister, Luna. Luna means praising the moon, while Serena means happy and tranquil. They just wanted me to know my place and not compete for her spotlight. I've never had so many beautiful clothes, and I certainly never dared to dream that someone would prepare everything for me in just one night. My voice choked, tears falling ceaselessly. Ethan Coo, you're too good to me. I'm afraid I'm just dreaming. Ethan Coo looked stunned. He raised his hand, gently wiping the tears from my cheeks with his fingertips. The gesture was so soft, carrying a hint of cautious probing. His voice turned hoarse, slightly trembling. So, you don't hate me restricting you? I shook my head vigorously. No, I don't hate it, not at all. You absolutely must keep me on a tight leash. The gloom in Ethan Coo's eyes immediately vanished. The corners of his lips curved, unable to suppress a laugh. He pulled me into his arms, resting his chin on the top of my head, letting out a satisfied sigh. Serena, you're a good girl. Comments. This development is completely unexpected. Oh my God, this is truly reverse manipulation. The male lead was attacked to the point of crashing. Now this is sophistication. Sisters, quickly learn this trick. When you meet an overbearing CEO, don't resist. Just cry and say, you're too good to me, I can't take it. Noted, saving this for my next life. In the days that followed, I finally understood what it meant to live like a fairy. In the mornings, I could sleep in as long as I wanted. Ethan Coo would have already left for work, but my breakfast was always hot, with a variety of Western and Asian dishes. Whatever I liked, I got. After eating, I'd retreat into the villa's movie theater to watch films or go to the game room to play games. In the afternoon, spa and massage therapists would come directly to the house to serve me. In the evening, Ethan Coo would return home promptly to have dinner with me. It was exactly as my sister had said. He kept an eye on my social media activities. He bought me a new phone, and right in front of me, he added his fingerprint to it. From now on, I have the right to check your phone anytime. I obediently nodded and replied, yes, the password is your birthday too. He seemed slightly surprised, then bent down and placed a light kiss on my forehead, his voice tinged with amusement. Good girl. Comments. I can't handle it. This is the sweetest dog food, affectionate term for showing affection in the world. Female lead, I don't interact with anyone, so what's there to check? He must be checking thin air. LOL, I'm dying of laughter. I bet her WeChat friend list has less than 20 people, and 10 of them are file transfer assistants and official accounts. The comments were indeed right. The person I chatted with the most was actually my mother. The content was also very simple. My mom, Serena, how have you been lately? Is Ethan treating you well? Me, yes, he treats me very well. My mom, that's good then. Oh, your sister has been sad lately. Can you talk to Ethan, ask him to introduce a good man to her? After all, your sister sacrificed a lot for you. Seeing those two words, sacrificed a lot, I almost burst out laughing. I handed the phone directly to Ethan Coo. Here, Mom says you should introduce a boyfriend to my sister. He took the phone, scrolled through a few lines, and immediately frowned. They always treat you like this. If not, then what? I shrugged, replying indifferently, I'm used to it. He didn't say another word, simply took my phone and without hesitation blocked both my parents' contact numbers. Then he looked up, his eyes full of sincerity. From now on, I will be your only family. You just need to rely on me, all right? What more could I say? Immediately, I pounced on him like a hungry tiger on its prey, pushing him onto the sofa, exclaiming emotionally, "Yes, you're my only family, my only dad." Ethan Coo was completely stunned. Comments: Hey, I'm dying of laughter. Calling him dad. Where has the female lead's mind gone? Ethan Coo, you see her as your wife, and she sees you as her father. This relationship is completely messed up. Time passed like that, and the feelings between Ethan Coo and me grew deeper. I realized that he wasn't actually as perverted as the rumors suggested. His so-called control was actually just an awkward way of showing care. He restricted me from going out because he was afraid I'd encounter danger. So, whenever I had to go out, there were always 8 bodyguards closely following me. That formation was no different from an emperor on an inspection tour. He restricted my eating because he knew my stomach was weak and I was also a picky eater. He hired an entire team of chefs and nutritionists, cooking countless delicious dishes for me every day. After a month, my face had noticeably plumped up. As for restricting what I wore, looking at the closet full of designer dresses, bags, and shoes, all I wanted to exclaim was, "Please control me even more strongly, don't stop." That day, I was lounging on the sofa, enjoying imported cherries, when Ethan Coo approached me and handed me an invitation card. "There's a charity gala tonight. Will you come with me?" I frowned. Can I not go? I hate these kinds of social interactions the most. They're noisy and exhausting, and I even have to fake smiles. He gently pinched my cheek, his tone firm. "No, you must. This time is very important. Many major partners will be attending. Be good, think of it as just coming with me for a little while." Since he said that, what else could I do but nod in agreement? That evening, I wore a dark blue, starry evening gown that he had personally chosen. I linked my arm with his and entered the hall. The appearance of such a talented and beautiful couple immediately attracted all eyes at the party. I was a little nervous and shrunk back. Ethan Coo noticed this, leaned down, and whispered in my ear, "Don't be scared, just stay by my side." He led me to greet some important partners. I only needed to smile and nod, playing the role of a moving vase was enough. While I was secretly sneaking into a corner to snatch some sweets, an uninvited guest appeared. It was none other than my sister, Luna. She was wearing a long white dress, meticulously made up, and accompanied by a charming, handsome man. The moment she saw me, her eyes flashed with jealousy and dissatisfaction, but it was quickly covered by a look of concern. "Serena, why are you here?" Before I could even speak, Ethan Coo calmly replied, "She is my fiancé. Where else would she be?" Luna's face suddenly turned pale. She bit her lip tightly and said, "Ethan Coo, I know you have unparalleled power, but you can't treat Serena like this. She's still young. You can't imprison her like a canary in a golden cage." Comments: Oh my God, the female lead has appeared, bringing her, freedom-loving, male-supporting character to rescue her sister. The man next to her must be Jason Mew, the infatuated supporting male lead from the original story, a talented artist, a symbol of freedom and art. Here it comes, the classic confrontation, the older sister bringing freedom to rescue her imprisoned younger sister. I looked at Luna's righteous, emotional face and couldn't help but chuckle. "Sis, I think you've misunderstood something. I'm living very well. Look, haven't I even gained weight?" I pinched my cheek, showing off the soft flesh. The man with her, Jason Mew, slightly frowned and said gravely, "Miss, a rich material life does not mean a rich spiritual life. The freedom of the soul is something no money can buy." I blinked, but I don't need freedom of the soul, I just need financial freedom. Jason Mew and Luna flushed with anger. Serena, has he brainwashed you? How can you be so shameless? As she spoke, she tried to reach out and pull me away. Ethan Coo immediately pulled me behind him, his expression cold, his deep voice resounding. Miss Shen, please mind your manners. Furthermore, it is not your place to call my fiancé by her first name. His possessive gaze was now strikingly obvious, almost frightening. Luna was forced to take a step back by his imposing aura, her eyes red-rimmed. Ethan Coo, don't be unreasonable. Serena is my sister. Ethan Coo replied coldly, his voice like ice. From the moment she replaced you as my fiancé, she is solely my wife, no longer anyone's sister. Whispers and discussions began to spread throughout the hall. Everyone buzzed and pointed. I frowned. An evening that should have been peaceful was being disrupted by these two. I hadn't even gotten to enjoy my sweets yet. I gently tugged at Ethan Coo's sleeve. I'm hungry. Can we go eat something? He glanced at me, the coldness in his eyes immediately melting away. All right. He took my hand and calmly led me straight to the food area, leaving the other two standing dumbfounded, their faces alternating between green and white. Comments? Ha ha ha, brilliant. Nothing is more important than eating and drinking. Luna, I've prepared 300 lines to move you. Serena, yeah, but the cake is much better. Jason Mew, freedom and the soul. Serena, cherries and beef steak. Completely different mindsets. After that party, Luna was quiet for a while. I comfortably enjoyed my days as a salted fish, basking in the sun. In contrast, Ethan Coo became more and more attached to me. He started restricting social gatherings, returning home immediately after work every day. Sometimes, when I played games, he'd sit beside me reviewing documents. When I watched movies, he'd sit next to me and watch too. Even though our movie tastes were completely different, I liked silly comedies. While he preferred brain-teasing thrillers, he always indulged me. Whenever I burst into laughter, he would just smile faintly, helplessly but full of love. Gradually, I realized I couldn't live without him anymore. Not because of money or material things, but because he brought me a sense of being cared for and cherished, things I had never experienced in my entire life. One day, I suddenly had an idea to surprise him. I asked the butler to take me to his company headquarters, intending to bring him lunch I had personally prepared. But as soon as I arrived at the company gate, I witnessed a good show. Luna was pulling the hair of a very lavishly dressed woman, arguing fiercely. You vixen, stay away from CEO Coo. CEO Coo is mine. Who do you think you are? The other woman was no slouch either. She shoved my sister's hand away. You're the trash. CEO Coo's fiancé is Serena, not you. Don't stand here making a fool of yourself. Comments? Oh, isn't this Quinn, the evil female antagonist from the original story? Her family and the Coo family have been friends for years, and she's obsessed with the male lead. Perfect. In the story, she always tries to harm the female lead, Luna. So why is she on the same side now? Because now Serena is the female lead. In Quinn's eyes, Luna is someone who stole the engagement and now wants to take it back. How could she possibly tolerate that? I stood afar, holding my lunchbox, watching this amusing drama. It seemed my sister had reincarnated but forgotten that she was no longer Ethan Coo's fiancé. Quinn's scolding left her speechless, only able to stand there crying pitifully. The security guards around wanted to intervene, but yet were hesitant. I sighed. How embarrassing. After all, she is my sister. Thinking this, I stepped forward and lightly cleared my throat. Excuse me, if you two want to argue, could you please do it somewhere else? You're blocking the way for others. Both women spun around to look at me. Quinn paused for a moment when she saw me, then immediately changed her attitude, smiling brightly. Oh, Serena, are you bringing lunch to CEO Coo? How thoughtful. Luna, on the other hand, looked like she'd found a life raft, quickly crying out, Serena, tell her. The person Ethan Coo truly loves is me. You're just a replacement. Sis, are you perhaps delusional? I said. Quinn sneered. Luna, are you crazy? If CEO Coo loved you, why would he let your younger sister replace you in marriage? Now he treats Serena like a treasure. What are you even? Luna was trembling with rage. Not wanting to argue further, I turned to the security guards. Please escort these two out. They're damaging the company's image. The guards obeyed, immediately inviting the two noisy ladies to leave. Finally, everything returned to peace. I carried my lunchbox into the Coo Group headquarters building. The receptionist quickly stood up and bowed. "Welcome, madam." I nodded gently and went straight to the private elevator to the top floor. In his office, Ethan Coo was in an online meeting. As soon as he saw me enter, he told the person on the other end, "Pause the meeting for 10 minutes. He turned off the screen and stood up, walking towards me. Why the sudden visit? He took the lunchbox from my hand, opened it, and his eyes lit up. "Did you make this yourself?" I was a little embarrassed. It's my first time. It probably doesn't taste very good." He took a piece of sweet and sour pork ribs, chewed it thoroughly, then gave a thumbs up. "Delicious. My wife's cooking is the best in the world." My face turned crimson. Comments: so sweet, so sweet. I'm going to faint. Men like this are truly extinct. Not just delicious, but my wife's cooking is the best in the world. My heart is melting just hearing it. I was still feeling shy when his phone rang. He glanced at the screen and frowned. It was Jason Mew. He answered the call right in front of me, even putting it on speaker. "CEO Coo, this is Jason Mew." "What is it?" Ethan Coo's voice was icy. "I want to discuss Luna's situation with you. I know you're misunderstanding her, but she's actually a very kind person. She just craves freedom too much." "So what?" "So, can you forgive her? It would also free both you and Serena. I know this marriage is just a transaction. You see Serena as a substitute for Luna. That's truly unfair to her. This artist's imagination is truly overflowing." Ethan Coo sneered. "A substitute? Mr. Mew, perhaps you've misunderstood. I, Ethan Coo, have never done anything to shortchange anyone, and there's certainly no such thing as finding a substitute. The person I love from beginning to end is only one." His gaze settled on me, radiant and firm. "It's my wife, Serena." The other end of the line was silent. Ethan Coo didn't give Jason Mew another chance to speak, flatly hanging up the phone. Then he pulled me into his arms, holding me tightly. "Serena, do you trust me?" I could feel his body tense, as if he was afraid I would doubt him. I hugged him back, softly saying, "I trust you." "Why?" "Because you have no reason to lie to me," I replied nonchalantly. "If you truly loved my sister, wouldn't it have been faster to just marry her? Why bother putting on an act with me? What would you gain? You get to watch me eat delicious food or listen to me snore loudly." Ethan Coo chuckled softly, tightening his embrace. "You're right. I like watching you eat heartily and sleep soundly." Comments: "Ha ha ha, the female lead's thinking always takes a roundabout 30-meter detour, but always hits people's hearts." Jason Mew, "I feel like a clown." Luna, "I'm the one who was truly replaced." After that day, I finally understood why Ethan Coo disliked Jason Mew so much. It turned out he had a half-brother who was not in good health but was a genius in painting. Ethan Coo loved this younger brother dearly, but then his brother fell in love with a woman. That woman constantly spoke words of love, but when he was at his sickest, she secretly took all his paintings and money, then ran off with another man. That emotional shock was more than his brother could bear, and he passed away not long after. And that woman, what she pursued in the end was what she called freedom and love. Since that incident, Ethan Coo began to intensely despise anyone who constantly spoke of freedom. As for Jason Mew, his personality and manner of speaking were too similar to that woman from years ago. Regarding Luna, Ethan Coo told me that he had initially intended to marry her. The two families had been close friends for a long time, and the engagement had been set since childhood. He didn't care who he married, as long as she was obedient, compliant, and could fulfill the role of the Coo family's madam. Before the engagement ceremony, he had researched Luna, knowing she was gentle and composed, perfectly fitting his standards. Who would have thought that, on the eve of the engagement, she would suddenly change her mind, even calling him a pervert? At the time, he just found it incredibly perplexing. "Until I met you. From the first moment I saw you, I knew you were different." Ethan Coo gently stroked my hair, his voice as soft as a breeze. "When you knelt down, pleading with your parents to let you take your sister's place and walk down the aisle, your eyes sparkled unusually, containing both calculation and a deep yearning. At that moment, I secretly thought, this girl is truly special." Later, as I got closer to you, I realized you were even more interesting than I had imagined. You're lazy, prefer to stay indoors, dislike socializing, and have a bit of a fondness for money. But you're genuine, not pretentious at all. You say exactly what you want. Being with you, I feel incredibly comfortable. I was stunned after hearing all that. So, you loved me from the first time we met. He pondered for a moment, then smiled gently. Not exactly love at first sight, but more like the moment I saw you, I knew it was you. My heart felt sweet, as if I had just drunk honey. So I hadn't stolen my sister's husband. I was the one destined for him. I thought my life would continue in peace and happiness, but it seemed fate wasn't done with me yet. That day, a strange call came to me. On the other end, my mother's voice was filled with terror. "Serena, save your sister quickly," she choked. Your sister has been kidnapped." Comments. Here it comes, the classic plot point. The female lead gets caught. In the original story, Luna was kidnapped by the male lead's business rival. Then he heroically rescued the beauty, and their relationship blossomed. But now the one kidnapped is the sister, so will the male lead still come to her rescue? Before I could even process it, my father took the phone from my mother. My father said, his voice trembling, "Serena," the kidnappers said, "only Ethan Coo must come alone, otherwise they will kill her. You must tell him to go save your sister. After all, she's your biological sister." I frowned. Why didn't the kidnappers contact him directly? Why go through mom and dad first, then call me? My father stammered, unable to answer. My mother snatched the phone, crying, "Is this really the time to ask such things? Quickly tell Ethan Coo to go. Any delay could be dangerous." I hung up, my heart cold. I didn't need to guess. This definitely had something to do with my sister. It was very likely a self-directed play, the purpose, of course, being for Ethan Coo to come and rescue her, perform a perfect hero saves the beauty act, and rekindle their old flame. I recounted the entire incident to Ethan Coo. After listening, his expression turned dark, chillingly so. Ko muon Andy Kong?" he asked. I looked at him and gently shook my head. "I don't want you to go. It's a trap. I don't want you to be in any danger." Ethan Coo smiled gently and pulled me into his embrace. "All right, I won't go." He immediately called his assistant, ordering him to report to the police and simultaneously use all resources of the Coo family to conduct an investigation. Comments. Oh my God, the female lead actually didn't let the male lead go to rescue her. This situation turned around so fast. She's not a saint, she's just worried about the person she loves. So touching. But what about her sister? Will she really be killed? In truth, I was also a little uneasy. Although I didn't like my sister, I certainly didn't wish her any harm. Ethan Coo noticed my worry and gently rubbed my back. "Don't worry, I've sent people. She'll be fine." Sure enough, not long after, his assistant called back. Everything had been resolved smoothly. The kidnapping was real, but the mastermind wasn't Ethan Coo's business rival. It turned out to be Jason Mew. That infatuated artist had perhaps read too many romance novels and wanted to test the love for Luna. He actually paid people to pretend to be kidnappers, intending to create a dramatic test of affection. Who knew Ethan Coo wouldn't even show up, and the police would appear instead? As a result, Jason Mew and the fake kidnappers were caught red-handed. Luna was rescued but completely dazed. She hadn't expected things to go so far. At the police station, she still tried to justify herself. "This is just a misunderstanding, just a prank?" But kidnapping is a serious crime. It couldn't be dismissed as just a prank. To protect her, Jason Mew took sole responsibility for all the charges. Perhaps for the rest of his life, he would only have drawing paper and prison cells. After that incident, Luna became the subject of gossip and ridicule among the upper class. My parents were so angry they had to be hospitalized. They called me again, crying and pleading. "Serena, please beg Ethan Coo for help. Ask him to forgive Jason Mew. Don't pursue charges against your sister anymore." I coldly refused. If she made a mistake, she has to take responsibility. I won't withdraw anything. With that, I hung up. From that moment on, I considered myself estranged from that family. My life returned to peaceful days. On our engagement anniversary, Ethan Coo took me to the beach. We walked together on the sand, watching the sunset disappear behind the sea. Suddenly, he knelt on one knee and pulled out a diamond ring. This ring was even bigger and sparklier than the engagement ring. "Serena, will you be my wife?" His eyes were incredibly sincere. Before, I always thought marriage was just an exchange, an obligation. But since meeting you, I've realized marriage is sharing, relying on each other, and wanting to give you all the best things in this world. Will you agree to let me take care of you for the rest of my life? I looked at him, my eyes stinging, tears flowing. This time, I wasn't crying because of villas or expensive designer bags, but because of him, I nodded vigorously. Yes, I do. He was as happy as a child, scooping me up and spinning me around several times. Comments. Ahaha, I declare this wedding approved. Immediately call the Civil Affairs Bureau to register them. The salted fish female lead and her unique fish farmer finally have a happy ending. So touching. So, does this story want to tell us that as long as you're lazy enough, the CEO will automatically come to you? The person above isn't quite right. The necessary condition is that, first, you need an older sister who wants to be reincarnated. Ethan Coo and I officially became husband and wife. The wedding was even more grand than the engagement. My parents didn't attend, and my sister was also absent. I heard that after that emotional shock, she became unstable and had to be hospitalized for treatment. My parents, after pleading in vain, had probably completely given up on me, but those matters no longer had any bearing on me. I had found my own home. Life after marriage was even more wonderful than I had ever dreamed. Ethan Coo doted on me so much that I almost became a blissfully useless person. My daily routine was eating, sleeping, shopping, and beauty treatments. Sometimes I felt a little guilty, wondering if I was indulging myself too much. But whenever I did, Ethan Coo would gently pat my head, smiling and saying, "I work hard so you can enjoy yourself comfortably without having to worry about anything. All right, you win." One day, I was lying watching TV when a stream of comments appeared on the screen. Comments. Honestly, why did the author make the original female lead reincarnate? Was it just to bring this salted fish couple together? Perhaps this is the legendary magical butterfly effect. It's possible the author just wants to convey the message that everyone has their own definition of happiness. The freedom Luna yearned for was, for Serena, shackles, and the leisure Serena sought was, in Luna's eyes, nothing short of a prison. There's no right or wrong here, just different choices. I looked at those words and smiled faintly. Yes, it was all just different choices. My sister chose the freedom she desired, and I chose Ethan Coo, whom I loved, and both of us achieved the ending we had always yearned for. Just then, Ethan Coo walked out of his study, an iPad in his hand. "My dear wife, look at this." I tilted my head to look. It was a contract for the acquisition of a resort island. "This is a new project my company just launched. I've bought it in your name. After this, whenever you need to relax, we'll go there together." I looked up at him, overcome with emotion, and threw myself into his arms, planting a loud kiss on his cheek. "Husband, you're the best." He smiled gently, lightly touching his lips to my forehead. "Because you deserve it." A ray of sunlight filtered through the large window, warm and gentle. In my heart, I thought, perhaps my entire life was meant to be lived only to find him. And freedom? Well, could there be any freedom more blissful than lounging on a private island, enjoying imported fruits while losing yourself in the vastness of the sea? Surely not.